This may be the last time I can make it in here this year. I wanted to exchange SD cards on some cameras and make sure there's enough juice for those batteries to make it through the winter time. So I happen to be up here by myself. Nobody else could make it today. And hope I don't get stuck because I'll definitely be digging by myself. I like to have a camera going on these things in case we get a road crossing Bigfoot or one off the edge of the road or something. Yeah, the amount of snow and mud and ice up here, I'm pretty sure this is the last time I'll be able to get up here until about the middle of June to end of July. Beginning of July. Because I'm by myself, there's probably going to be very minimal talking, so those that want to come along for the ride, cool, but I won't be talking the whole time. By the way, if there's anything on those SD cards, I'll definitely put this at the end, or those at the end of this video. I'm really hoping I can make it to where I need to go. I got quite a long drive in these conditions to get there. Yeah, there's big swaths of private property up here. I'm currently driving through a 3-mile section where both sides are private property. And generally, most private property in the mountains is fairly lightly used as compared to public properties. So this is an interesting section to me. I would feel like the Bigfoot may stay on the private properties for many reasons. Less pressure from humans, and of course that means during hunting season the deer figure out that there's less pressure. All the animals figure out there's less hunting pressure. So, you know, a lot of people are like, God, I always see the big ones on the private property during the hunting season. And it's like, yeah, it's because they learn that's where they're most likely to survive. So it would really make sense for the Bigfoot to be on the private properties during the hunts. And of course, all of the fall and even a little bit into winter, there's quite a few hunts going on, especially the fall. And I doubt I mentioned where I'm at. I'm in the northern part of Utah, on top of a mountain they call Monte Cristo. We're close to 9,500 feet elevation. Well, good news is you can see the tracks in the snow of hunters that have come back in here since it snowed, so good indication I should be able to make it in and out of here. But I still have about 15 more miles to drive on this type of a road, so hopefully it doesn't get worse. Yeah, in about another month or so, you'll only be able to get in here on a snowmobile. So Jenny and I have one snowmobile between the two of us, and so you really don't want to go very far at all with just one machine. You really need two machines to go as far back as we got these types of cameras. I mean, it's just too much. I mean, even with two machines, where they close the gate in the winter time to get back in here to where we keep our cameras, God, it's between 30 and 40 miles, probably more like 40 miles from that gate and the dirt road. And so yeah, about an 80-mile round trip on a snowmobile. Yeah, I don't know. Probably more like 60 miles round trip, but it would be fun to do at some point. We've never done it, and there's people that do, I know for a fact, because last winter I got a single snowmobile drive past one of my cameras. So I just kind of thought, yeah, there's no way people come this far back in, but you know, obviously they do. At least one person does. Wow. Quite a bit of snow up here already. I just had two new tires thrown on the front of this. I still got about 20,000 miles left on the tread left on the ones on the back, so hopefully that's enough tread to get in and out of here. When you're Bigfoot, and you always seem to be following where the snow is, the edge of the snow line, and definitely on the snow line today. Yeah, in the spring runoff, we're getting up as close the snow line as possible, and then the snow line pushes us down in the fall, and does that with a lot of animals, I'm sure. Yeah, elk are famous for following the snow line. They're right at the edge of the snow, and you know, we even see evidence where they bed down in the snow. They'll lay right down in the snow and take a nap, and you know, they like to stay cool. When you got those big winter coats and everything, sometimes they do need to lay down in the snow to cool off, but I suspect Bigfoot probably follows the elk herds. It's one of my theories. It's not following the elk herds for the food. It's at the same elevations at the same time for a reason, possibly to stay cool, and the types of food sources that are available. I'm coming up on a section where a guy had a Bigfoot sighting. It's the most recent sighting here reported to me. I was really excited because it's the 7th report in this area reported to me. And several of the sightings are people I know real well and trust, like one of my old bosses before I was into Bigfooting. Had one up here. My father-in-law, and then brother-in-law on a different occasion had one up here. Anyway, I was on a hunting fishing channel on Facebook and saw a Bigfoot discussion get started, and a lot of the people in this discussion were from Utah, and a few of them were talking about their Bigfoot sightings in Utah, and one of them was right on this stretch that we're on now. Right here, he says his headlights hit the creature off to the side of the road, and he got to observe it for a while before it walked off, and he says it looked right at him, and it had a look on its face like it did not appreciate the headlights on it. And I believe I just drove right past where he seen it on this clearing to the right from the description of up here that he told me. So I was pretty excited. Yeah, I jumped in the discussion and told anyone, you know, hey, I'm from RMSO Bigfoot. If you guys want to tell me the details of your Bigfoot sighting in private. And I gave him my email, and he got a hold of me and was telling me about it. So, you know, this wasn't on a Bigfoot forum or anything. This was a hunting and fishing channel, and the guy wanted to talk about Bigfoot and thought, you know, this hunting and fishing channel he was on would be one of the better places. You know, he really isn't out there on Facebook and isn't a part of any Bigfoot Facebook pages. But anyways, I was excited about the conversation he started about his Bigfoot sighting, because there was like 6 or 7 other people out of hundreds in on this conversation that talked about their Bigfoot sightings, and most of them were in Utah and a couple in Idaho. So I got to, you know, read some new Bigfoot sightings and have one of them actually report to me all the details. So he is the 7th person personally that has told me personally, you know, not some random sighting report that I find on you know, online or that's been reported to the police or whatever, but you know, he's the 7th person that has told me personally about a Bigfoot sighting that they've had up here. So we do spend a lot of time up here. This is only about 65 miles from where we all live. So it's practically in our backyard, so to speak. But because of the elevation of this mountain where everybody's seeing them, the snow is just too deep a lot of the year. We can't get in here until usually the 1st of July, and then it's either the 1st of November or 1st of December before you can, you know, the snow's too deep that you can't get vehicles back here. Yeah, I'll have that guy watch this video and see if he gave me or if I got his directions right to where he had his Bigfoot sighting. But back where I said it was, I'm pretty sure by the directions he gave me, I just drove right past it. And I noticed, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but I noticed as I drove past it, there's a spring. I do know that spring dries up different parts of the year because I've seen it dry, but most of the year there's some water in it, and there was water when I drove past it, so that may be a reason that he saw it there, or maybe it was there to get a drink. Yeah, he said it was about 2 a.m. in the morning, and it wasn't just him. He had someone in his passenger seat, a friend or a girlfriend or something like that. Sorry. It's about a month ago he told me about it, and I have to go home and look at that email so I can get that right. I know he was with someone though. I thought that was pretty cool. It looked right at him, or at their car. Oh, a matter of fact, I plan on Bigfooting with them. We're planning on next year getting together for a camping trip, and I'd like him to show me exactly where it was at and all that. You know, it's neat if someone can actually show you the exact spot it was standing, you know. Passing a spot right now on the right where I camp a lot, and the reason being, the first time we ever camped there, we got wood knocks, and several times we've gotten wood knocks in the woods, and I'm talking unsolicited wood knocks. I mean, we don't do that. We don't sit and bang against trees trying to get responses and stuff. It seemed like 90% of the wood knocks, maybe all of them, were in response to something we were doing that made a knock sound inadvertently, like there's a couple of times it's not just us closing a vehicle door. One time I was chopping wood with a hatchet, where I really only needed one hit to split it down to what I wanted for making the fire, and man, split it, and I would knock off into the woods. And then another time, well, actually the very first time we camped up here, we were setting up the tent, and the ground's soft enough there that you can pretty much push most of them down in the stakes down into the ground with your hand, or step on it with your foot. And I had a hatchet with me, and using the backside as a hammer, and I got a couple of the stakes in, just shoving them into the ground, and the last one just needed about an inch that I couldn't shove it in, so I popped it one time with that hatchet and stood up, and bam, a really loud knock in the woods, like a baseball bat against the tree and stuff. And Jenny and I looked at each other and said, "You got to be kidding me." And this place has been really fruitful for wood knocks the next 2 years. And, we've searched the woods back in there and have found structures and snap-offs and places where logs seem to be purposely laid to impede your hiking ability back there. I mean, you can climb over it and stuff, but it really slows you down, and it's kind of weird. But that first year and then the next year, we would get those types of wood knocks often here. And then the third year, it just stopped. In the last couple of years, we've yet to get one of those wood knocks back here. So, if Bigfoot are using the area, perhaps they use them for a little while and then move on to another area. So, possibly they'll be back. Possibly. And it would be cool if we were filming when one of those wood knocks happened. Catch it on camera for you guys. Although I'm never really that impressed with hearing wood knocks myself. I mean, it is cool, but hearing it on someone else's video or whatever, it's like, that doesn't mean Bigfoot. That doesn't scream Bigfoot. It's just, maybe the possibility that a Bigfoot's doing it is exciting, when it's obviously not a woodpecker, when it's an obvious loud bam bam, like a big old club against a tree or whatever. Let's see if I can get around this. Okay, I don't want to pop a tire, so. Oh, yay, made it. I thought that was going to be the end of the road. I still got a long ways to go to get to those cameras. I hope I can make it. It raining and snowing up here and making the ground soft, and trees fall. I don't have a chainsaw. We get a big tree across the road. I have no choice but to turn back. check this spring that's over here. This is a great time of year for footprints. Really hard for Bigfoot to walk in places they don't leave footprints, so the spring that I'm driving past, it's already frozen over. The camera picks up on that. Yep, plenty of little melt off petals that the snow leaves right now. Kind of exciting up here. I haven't seen another vehicle at all. I mean, obviously someone's driven on the road at some point. Yesterday, today, I don't know. Might run into someone back here. I'm expecting to see some deer or elk hunters back here. I know there's some hunts going on. But if I don't see another soul, that's awesome. Unless I get stuck. Yeah, I have a feeling I may be hiking in the mud. Did bring me a pair of boots that are my mud boots for that type of stuff, so I was prepared. Tree in the road. Because of that tree I had to move. I don't think there's anyone been up here today. At least nobody's crossed that spot. I have to tell you guys, all this dirt road driving I do, just my car washes are a fortune. I usually wash my vehicle twice after a day that we have to drive through mud. Yeah, I wash it really good and think I've got it, you know, washed really good, and the next day out of little nooks and crannies underneath the vehicle, in the wheel wells or whatever, you'll always have mud that's worked its way out and fallen out. So I usually have to, at some point, get it a second time to really get it clean. So Yep, all of our hikes that you see us going on looking for Bigfoot. This is the stuff we have to drive through a lot of times to go on those hikes, to take a look around. Yeah, I don't mind the car washes after we've just driven on a dirt road that kicks up dust and stuff. You know, one good wash and you're good, but anybody that's ever driven on mud knows you just don't get it all the first time. No matter how thorough you are, there's still mud that'll come out of nooks and crannies. I don't know if you guys saw that grouse that just crossed the road. Well, that was a grouse. I usually don't get the opportunity to Bigfoot by myself very often. Maybe one or two little expeditions a year or whatever. Yeah, I always think about Paul Freeman's statement when he filmed those Bigfoot. You only see them when you're alone. I love that statement. I've not seen one out in the open clear enough to make the claim that I've seen a Bigfoot, whether I'm alone or with someone else. Had a great time going to the Paul Freeman footage location over the summer, just a few months ago. Found some really deep suspect Bigfoot prints while we were up there, you know, not very far from where he actually filmed that Bigfoot. And I believe it was 2004 or whatever it was. Really cool. It's exciting when you go to a place like that and you actually find something that you're like, hey, what's going on here? I'm getting really close to where I'm gonna have to do this hike. So you guys keep watching. I'll put anything I found on those cameras at the end of this video. You know, whether it's Bigfoot or not, I'd like to show everybody what's going on in these places that people keep on claiming to see Bigfoot. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. Here's one of the springs that I keep an eye on up on top of Monte Cristo. Bigfoot sighting hotspot. There's 7 Bigfoot sightings that have been reported directly to me over the years. Most of them were before I got serious about Bigfooting. You know, brother-in-law, father-in-law, my aunt's boyfriend. Latest Bigfoot sighting reported to me. The guy was on a hunting fishing Facebook page. It's a quite big one. And he says, I really don't know who to talk to this about, so maybe this is a good place to start. You know, he's not a Bigfoot enthusiast to the point that he follows these types of channels. He does now, because I jumped in on the conversation and told him, you know, who I am and what I do after I saw, you know, about a half a dozen of them sitting there talking about their Bigfoot sightings. And I asked the guy for the details of his Bigfoot sighting. And he started right away, you know, when he emailed me that it happened up on Monte Cristo. And I was like, wow, you know. So this wasn't a guy that follows the station, you know, our channel or anything. So anyway, it was about 2 in the morning, not too far from here, probably maybe 3 miles from where I'm standing now. It was about 2 in the morning. They were driving a car in a clearing off to the side of the road is where they saw the Bigfoot, and he says it was dark, maybe black. A good 8 feet tall, 8.5 feet tall is what he estimated. He was in the car with his girlfriend, maybe his wife now. The headlights hit it in the clearing. It looked at them like it wasn't happy to see them or happy that the lights were on it before it headed off into the woods. And anyway, his conversation, he started on this hunting and fishing channel. There was about 8 other people that had come forward saying that they'd saw Bigfoot, you know, and there was a lot of people in on the conversation. You know, I asked everybody to, you know, give me their reports, more detail, you know, on that thread, but he's the one that started up this conversation that let me know. But most of the people on this hunting fishing channel are from this area, from the Utah area, so most of the sighting reports were from Utah. There was also a couple from Idaho. This is an area I keep an eye on, and I just get excited. It helps me stay motivated when you know, people in the areas that I'm going into, you know, come forward with these Bigfoot sightings. So, you know, that's his Bigfoot sighting report. I excited to come up here, and it's probably the last time I'll be able to get in here this year. So it'll probably be spring before I can come back. So I'm gonna do an SD card exchange on some of my cameras and make sure the batteries are good to go all cold winter long. So keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. I'll keep bringing you more Bigfoot sighting reports and our Bigfoot expeditions, where we actually go into these places people say they see Bigfoot, and we do our investigations and look around to see if we can find Bigfoot evidence our own, and maybe get lucky and one day get a sighting that we can bring. I just heard a vocalization off that direction. Because I was talking, I don't know if the camera got it. That could have been anything. I don't know what it is. That direction. I heard some type of vocalization. Very well could have been a bird or something. It's very quiet up here. Alright, I'm gonna hike around. Mountain Sasquatch Organization Bigfoot channel. Keep on watching, we're gonna keep on squatching. I'm the only one on this mountain today, and the reason I know this is because I had to move a tree out of my way, you know, so I suspected I might be one of the few people to come up here after us, after it snowed. So, yep, maybe the last time I can come up here until July. Because when it dumps snow up here, it dumps snow. It's we're at about 9,500 feet elevation. I believe the tree that I set this other camera up on has been ripped over. There's a snap off right there. Camera's missing. And the tree has just been smashed over. Not saying Bigfoot ripped my camera off of here and broke these two trees, but my camera's gone and the trees are smashed. And it's been 2 months since I've been here, so really unfortunate to lose a camera, but if it was just missing off the tree, I'd be like, oh, somebody took my camera, but the trees have been, they've been broke. Weird. Alright, well, there's other cameras in the area to check, and just don't know what to tell you guys. Camera's gone, and the trees that it was on and the next one to it have been snapped. You know, I'd blame the snap on the weather if my camera was still there to show that the weather did it, but I secure these cameras really well. Makes me wonder if it was yanking on the camera to break it. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find that camera on the ground or whatever, and this is weird. Really weird. Well, I hope you guys enjoy what's on those SD cards. I'll put them at the end of this video. It's funny, I always say it's like it's always like Christmas morning whenever you pick up some SD cards. In Search of the Yeti show that's been on, Casey Anderson says the same thing when he grabs his cameras. He makes the statement that it's just like Christmas. I thought that was funny, you know. Alright, well, it's a Bigfoot sighting hotspot, and I'm going to take a look around. I haven't seen any elk or deer prints. I've seen rabbit. Nothing Bigfooty so far, just some weird snapped over trees. Keep on watching, we're going to keep on squatching.